Today we're going to talk about ableism, disableism, and disability discrimination. Ableism can appear in many different ways. It can appear when disabled students are being segregated or being rejected from a job due to a mental health issue, whether it be still existing or a past mental health issue that a job be aware of. It also refers to favoring non-disabled individuals, putting their needs first, and making it seem like doing that is the norm. Viewing people with disabilities as less valuable in society is also ableist. Sometimes it can be subtle or unintentional, such as pushing a wheelchair without asking, or petting a service animal without asking, or parking in a handicapped spot without a need to, or using it without a handicap sign, or just using it because it was the only one open or it's the closest to the entrance. The idea of internalized ableism refers to how disabled people are affected within themselves when living in a society that discriminates against them. It gives them the feeling of low self-esteem and feeling ashamed of their disability. Disableism refers to negative attitudes, actions, or mistreatment towards individuals with disabilities unrelated to their capabilities. It is a type of prejudice similar to racism or sexism, encompassing deliberate discrimination or abuse against disabled people. Now let's go back to ableism and look at some examples. Some examples may include designing a building with no ramps or lifts for wheelchairs, failing to make information available in an accessible format such as Braille or British Sign Language, telling someone they don't look disabled as a compliment, choosing a non-disabled candidate over a disabled person because you might think that their disability might make them less productive. Now we can look at some examples of disableism. Calling someone an offensive slur for disabled people, such as retard. That is a big one. Or even now there's acoustic, which is a mispronunciation of autistic, ignoring someone who is disabled or speaking condescendingly to them. Last one is assuming that a disabled person can't do something just because they're disabled. There is also disability discrimination, and that is when someone is treated differently because of their disability. So it's a little bit different from ableism or disableism. Those examples can include being passed over for a job or being fired for possibly the way you learn or do things because of your disability. An employer, school, or university failing to make reasonable adjustments to better suit your disability. Now we can get into why being ableist is not okay. For starters, anyone can easily become disabled, and that is where karma plays a role in this. If you treat people poorly, karma can easily turn its back on you, and so you could easily become disabled yourself. It is just better to treat people how you want to be treated. It is also important to understand that a person who has a disability deserves respect and dignity and the same rights as everyone else. Mental health is actually a form of a disability, like PTSD, stress and anxiety disorders, depression, etc. The list goes on and on. Discriminating or being ableist can cause depression, anxiety, antisocialism in disabled people, which can make their lives 10 times worse, and their self-esteem can lower. Disabled people are just like normal people. I think people should get out of the mindset that there is a normal or normal people. Disabled people, they are just as capable of things as able people are. Most institutions and organizations are set up to accommodate non-disabled people, which is excluding disabled people. Lastly, ways to not be ableist would be avoiding calling people without a disability normal. Don't give awards or undue praise for accomplishments that were not actually challenging by a person with a disability. Don't discount disabilities that aren't visible, such as chronic pain. And don't underestimate someone's abilities on their disability. To wrap things up, being ableist or disableist or just being like discriminatory in any way towards anybody is not okay. It can really mess up someone's mental health, and mental health is a big thing nowadays. And so just stop being ableist. Just be normal. Be normal. This is how my cat is looking at me while I'm recording. Gypsy! Oh, that attitude though.